Alright, so I, like so many other musicians, are starting to experiment with live streaming stuff, and in an effort to just sort of test things out, because I am sending this out over, hopefully, Twitch and YouTube at the same time. We will see how that goes. I actually wanted to start off by showing off, I've been playing around with making flutes for a while. Here's a music stand covered in flute experiments of different materials. The different colors typically arises out of like what filament I have laying around for my 3D printer. But yeah, so all of that stuff has been 3D printed. Restream. Okay, getting alerts that Jesus. Security restream granted access. Okay, getting a bunch of security alerts since I hooked up the service to Restream, which is the website that is sending this video to both Twitch and YouTube. But Google's like, hey, you signed in. Hey, you signed in. Is this you? Is this you? Is this you? Yes, it's me. But thank you for asking. But yeah, lots of flutes. I started off with like this one here and this pink ABS one, and this one here are all based off of the measurements I took off of this old this Sweetheart flute. That was my first wooden flute that I bought a couple years ago at Music Folk in St. Louis. Just to give them a plug. But yeah, so Sweetheart, Ralph Sweet. I am particularly fond of Ralph Sweet. He was somebody I knew personally, and has recently passed away. And he, I used to go to contra dances and square dances at his barn in Enfield, Connecticut. And he's a long-time flute maker and fife maker, and he's a big, Revolutionary War era reenactment guy. But people all over the country play like the reproduction fifes that he made and stuff like that. But anyway, so those flutes are based off of, my first attempts were based off of measurements of that Sweetheart flute, and they work. This one, that so far, I think I actually like this one, is based off of Terry McGee's measurements of a Clinton bore flute, from a Clinton flute made in, I think, the 1850s, and that was based on the Rudall and Rose improved bore, which is about the largest, if I remember correctly, like the largest diameter bore that Rudall and Rose and Cart had ever made. But I also put really big holes on it, which would not be a thing Rudall, Rose, and Cart would have been likely to do. It's also got a rectangular hole, and it actually has a much sharper steeper undercut in the embouchure hole than I've seen most flute makers do. So I don't know if that's I'm doing it wrong and I'm training my mouth to be adapting to bad things, but so far it's working for me. What else I want to do? And if anyone is curious, those last two were The Yellow Tinker and a tune called Do Nagor. The two before that were Donnybrook Fair, also called Joy of My Life, and Old Hag, You Have Killed Me. And yeah. Oh, here, I'll also show off my, doing a silly thing for just being decorative. I had the little crown. Originally just had it cut in like that, and then I just filled that in with wax. Since I was doing all of the waxed thread winding stuff. And if anybody's curious, this whole process, pieces were all printed on the 3D printer, and I didn't drill it afterward. It printed the holes, and it printed the holes really well. I'm kind of surprised. And then afterward, it was just a lot of sanding to get them smooth rather than looking. Let's not make this rather than looking more like that. Whereas, can't really see it on the camera so well because the light is not great. But this is actually, I sanded this all down to a 1000 grit sandpaper, and it's nice and smooth. It's almost pretty. Almost looks like a real flute. Have a lovely evening. I need to go to sleep.